Hey, good morning, Ashes to Rubies family. Good morning.
Welcome to the Ashes to Rubies conversational podcast on marriage, recovery, fear, anger. What else do we talk about? Recovery,
Codependency.
addiction.
Yeah. Codependency, I find, is like that unicorn. Like, no one really believes it exists, even the people with it.
No.
But isn't that addiction?
It's not that no one believes it exists. It's like just so hard to wrap your head around.
To put your thumb on it, like, because you're not snorting lines of cocaine and you're not drinking on a daily basis.
When I got to the spa yesterday.
Oh, let's talk about the spa.
One of the first people I saw was walking. You're not listening to me.
I'm so listening.
One of the first people I saw was walking past me with Codependent No More in her hands.
No. Did you guys connect? Did your spirits just go like this?
No. I said, good book.
That's it?
She goes, yeah.
So
Spent a lot of time in the book.
In my early experience of recovery, I was talking to somebody and they said, "Are you a friend of Bill?" And I'm like,
Bill who?
Bill who? What that means is, are you a friend of the people that wrote the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous?
Bill.
I was like, oh, I dropped. I didn't know that. It was the first time I heard it. I was like, Bill who? Yeah, I felt dumb. And people like to have that low profile.
Yes. Yeah.
So it would have been really cool if you had saw that book and went like, I love that book.
Hey man, if you're gonna walk around carrying it,
I know you're saying something.
Like right now, a lot of people are like recognizing, man, I don't want to keep living like this anymore. Like, what is happening in my relationship?
I would say if there was issues in your relationship pre-COVID, I believe that COVID has ignited codependent behavior.
Just like threw a little gasoline on.
Some chaos,
perhaps some control, embers.
Like, oh my goodness, and then kids running, very chaotic. A lot of adrenaline going, a lot of excitement, fun stuff. Hey, I'm not joking around about it because it's serious. So we laugh at our own addictions. I understand that. I'm not making fun of anybody. I apologize to you and your people and my people. Like, oh my goodness, I'm just here to listen. What were you going to say?
Who knows?
How was the spa? Tell me about that.
It was great. As expected.
You went from 9 a.m.
No, my appointment was at 9. My appointment was at 10. Yeah, you have to like.
Did you get salt in your eye?
No.
I did.
My appointment was at 10 a.m. and I left around 9 p.m.
Good morning, Jason. So you did a full bender, like not even just a work day, like a long bender. Was it good? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. It rained for like a really long time in the afternoon, which was totally fine because we had done this a few times, and so I went and sat by a fire and read a book. Finished one book. Sat for a long time. It was pouring, and then I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna have to make a run for it. And you could see people like walking around looking for somewhere sheltered to sit, and I was like, lose my spot. But I had to go pee.
If you're not familiar with the spa, it's like Wonderland of spas.
You have no idea what time it is. So I went to the bathroom, switched books, grabbed a different book because I knew I was too close to the end of one book. So I brought a second book. And then I made the grave error.
Of?
What do you think it was?
I can't even.
It was pouring. I was chilly. It was afternoon. I got a coffee.
Oh, you got a coffee.
And then as I was leaving the little spot where they have a little coffee shop.
You probably already had two before that.
Oh, yeah. As I was leaving the coffee shop, I saw the time.
It was
4 on the wall beside the barista. And it was 4:10.
4:10. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no.
Did you have trouble sleeping?
Trouble falling asleep. I was wide awake.
All of our problems of our own making.
I can't.
I have contempt prior to investigation, like so many of me and my friends.
Yeah.
And so we judge things and we criticize them and we don't really get engaged or try to get something out of it. And so the spa would be one of those things. But I went there and I thought it was really good. And then the other biggest one was pedicures. If you've never had a pedicure, I would employ pedicure. They literally scraped off a pound of skin with a razor. Like it was tense because you got a razor on your foot. But I was like, I walked out of there going like, my feet are alive. So there are some things that I would typically have never engaged in.
5 minutes of nothing. We're really sorry. Thanks for hanging in. We just talked about nothing for 5 minutes.
Now we're going to talk about something. And we are going to enter our morning meditation where we read about a concept of recovery and take this throughout the day. So hopefully this can resonate with you. The title is July 9th. I am an instrument. If you were an instrument, what would you be?
I don't like questions like that.
Tuba.
I have no idea.
Well, wait, like that with animals.
That's a
like
silly
what would be
question.
your animal person?
I strongly dislike those questions.
I think
is that a personality thing?
I think if I were to classify you,
I'm not an instrument.
I'm
not an animal.
I would say that you are you're a brass instrument. I might even go as far as to say that you could be a French horn.
That's so dumb. I don't even know what that means.
What would I be? What would I be? Kettle drum? Cowbell?
I feel
trumpet? Trombone?
That little children's
flute?
xylophone?
Would I be? I'm a xylophone? No, ding, those are so cool. Ding, ding. Those xylophones are making a comeback.
It's just a xylophone.
Xylophone. All right. Wow. Xylophone.
No, you don't have to say that.
I am an instrument. What instrument would you be? If I know that we shouldn't name our own instruments, but
I don't understand
what instrument would you be?
What does it even mean?
Type it down. All right. Humbly, I'm just assuming that it's.
I'm not trying to be difficult. I just don't understand.
You don't even have to try to be difficult. So maybe this will. All right. Humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. I've heard this conversation before. What's the difference between shortcomings and defects? It's an interesting conversation. I'm not going to give you the answer. Maybe I will. Maybe there isn't an answer. Okay, the subject of humility is a difficult one. Humility is not thinking less of myself than I ought to. It is acknowledging that I do certain things well. It is accepting a compliment graciously. God can only do for me what he can do through me. Humility is the result of knowing that God is the doer, not me. In the light of this awareness, how can I take pride into my accomplishments? I am an instrument, and any work I seem to be doing is being done by God through me. I ask God on a daily basis to remove my shortcomings in order that I may be more free to go about my recovery business of love and service. Oh, Jason is the base of love and service. So our goal in recovery is to be love and service from others. I know that in my spirit,
Should be our goal in life.
Everybody's goal.
Everyone's goal.
But in recovery, and as a child of God, I am to reflect his image because he puts his light in me. He puts love in me. So in early recovery, in the first 2 years of recovery, I was actually filled and met his love and realized I never knew what love was. I was trying to get it from everybody, especially you. And I would give you roses and flowers and then grab them back and step on them and see you rejected them. And I was very manipulative. I was trying to take, but love is consensual. Love is giving. It's not a consumer. It's fruitful. So that is the goal. And so I can only accomplish this out of the love that God's put in me. Mm-hmm. So then that's where the instrument is coming in. So am I a clanging gong or cymbal or cowbell? None of those are wrong. But in the wrong context, there is a place for cowbell.
Mm-hmm. Typically at a football game.
This is Saskatchewan refresh. Those fans. And so this is saying about God removing our shortcomings. So what's my shortcoming? I believe that a character defect is what I'm doing and should not be doing, and a shortcoming is something that I should be doing but don't do.
Say it again.
So a defective character is something that I do that's not an effective tool of love and service, and a shortcoming is something that I could be doing but I'm not doing. So God's going to bring up my shortcomings and reduce my character defects. Does that even make sense? In my head, it makes perfect sense.
But both of them, I think, like, I don't know why
I know
they have
that
to do
one
one
or
or the other,
in the
but
recovery
yeah,
literature, people would say that Bill just didn't like using the same word over again. So he used 3 different words.
Yeah, do they need to be different? I don't know. I think it's important to pay attention to, like, areas that need improvement. And then it's also important to, like, see, like, the things that I do that like are really not helpful to the people around me, or to myself, or to the people around me. I think that it can be challenging for some of us who have, like, a massive critical voice anyway. And so we tend to really shy away and really want to focus on, like, what are my strengths? Like, I just need to build on my strengths. And so it's a scary thing to, like, think I need to think about my defects of character or my shortcomings, right? And then that's where the distinction, because the book also talks about morbid reflection, right? We're not supposed to get into morbid reflection. And so I like how it's encouraging us to do a constructive when we finish the work, when we get through the 12 steps at the end, it's saying, like, as a daily practice, do a constructive review of your day at the end of every day. And that's not like a character assassination, it's not like, oh, I'm such a horrible person. And no, not at all. A constructive review of my day is being willing to be honest and think, like, oh, okay, I could have done that better. But this went really well. Oh, wow. Like, it's so important too to see, like, oh, wow, this situation happened and I didn't respond the way that I would have, like, 6 months ago. That's amazing.
Because now you're seeing the Spirit of God,
right,
instead of the spirit of me, where I'm irritable, restless, discontent. I'm trying to prove myself. I'm trying to be heard. I'm trying to be noticed.
And so I liked that language around, like, the nature of my character defects, because instead of, like, nitpicking and having this big long list of, like, all these things that I do wrong and all the behaviors, and then trying to fix the behaviors that I can't even fix anyway, the nature of my character defects, the nature of, the stuff that I'm trying to, like, have fixed in my life is really that I'm selfish. And
that's our nature.
I'm a selfish person.
And our nature is to be independent from God.
I really had no idea what a selfish person I really was.
Oh no!
Until I started. You knew.
So the reflection today, the meditation today is, where am I a useful instrument in the orchestra of God, or am I playing off key? And then why am I, like, every day I have to plug into God, and so I get out of tune when I miss a couple days. So the most important thing is to be plugged into God, to be plugged into the giver and not just the gifts, and to go throughout my day on a daily basis being plugged into God. And then I'm a much more useful instrument.
I think that's a really good example, because God really wants me in his orchestra.
Oh, the orchestra. All right. I don't know what instrument you are, Jason. You're the bass. Thank you for playing along. We will see you. Have a great weekend. Wash your hands. Keep the good behavior.